Hello, agus fáilte go trí seasced den program ag BBC Alba a bhí sa taispeanach na Bhoireannaich ingantach ag críosáil spórs an bhan in Alba. Is me Iona Ballantyne agus ha mí toilite fáilte cuideachd a bhan Oilimpigeach a bhuain ag dúis na cròladh an cròladh Jackie Lockhart gan studio in Teachcansa. Ha program trang eile ac an ghuibh in noch. Géibh sin in neach go súra bh Jackie agus Bruidhinnidh sin min ortas ag Alba an cròladh. Bruidhinnidh sin nech cròladh Hayley Duff a sé gé bhan ára hócail ag Geamannan Oilimpeach a Gheabhraí an in Beijing. Agus cluinnidh sin bhan cluiceadar balcóise Tyler Rattray a chéad cluiceadar a ghlèidh Bhoireannaich. Jackie, welcome back to 360.
Thank you.
There has been so much happen for you since you were last on the programme. What a year it's been. Can you just tell us what you've been up to?
Well, what a great start to the year, heading out to Beijing to commentate on the Winter Olympics with our ladies team and our gents team and our mixed doubles team. So that was a month of real excitement. And then I had a little bit of calmness for a month or so, and then I was off to Geneva with my World Senior Ladies team. So we came back with a bronze medal from there.
That's amazing.
I've enjoyed the summer and I'm looking forward to another winter season starting again.
And you also had your 20-year reunion.
Of course, yes we did. 20 years ago, yeah, we won the World Ladies Championship. So I invited all the girls, the support team, our performance manager, our video analysis, yeah, everybody back to my house, and we had a party and we went for a walk around the Notre Castle and then just relived all the memories that we had done 20 years ago. It was hard to believe it was 20 years.
That is amazing and it's so special. Did you have all your medals out?
No, actually, I don't think we did. What I did was I decorated my dining room, and I had lots of posters and pictures. And funny thing was, we had the scoreboard from the final. We happened to take the Scottish name off the scoreboard and put it into our broom bag and bring it back home with us. I'm not sure you're meant to do that, so I had the Scottish scoreboards up in the room, and yeah, we just had great fun. It was such a good day.
That is just amazing, and like you say, so special to relive those memories. And as you mentioned at the start, the kind of huge thing of the year, which feels like such a long time ago, was the Winter Olympics. We will talk more about what actually happened on the rink, but for you being there, commentating, how was that?
It was different this year for sure. I was really pleased that we eventually got to go, because it was touch and go whether we would actually get to go out to the venue, but they decided at the last minute that they would take a small crew out. So myself, Steve Cram and Rona Howie all went out on the chartered flight along with the athletes to Beijing. We did perform, or we had to perform in what was a bubble, so we weren't allowed to go anywhere or do anything, but we had 27 days out there in a hotel, bus to the venue, bus to the media centre, back to the hotel, and then 19 days of competition, and that was tough going. That was a real marathon for us. That
is really intense, but it must have been so worth it to be co-commentating on that women's gold medal match.
It was wonderful, and as an athlete, you don't actually appreciate the excitement and the buzz that goes on behind the scenes from all the people who are involved with the BBC and the media. I mean, they're so excited about it all. So it gave us a buzz as well, because it's a long week for us to be continually speaking for that length of time, and you get tired. But the minute your team are getting closer and closer to a medal position, your energy levels just rise. So it was great. I was really pleased to be able to commentate on that game, and for the girls to win, it was just a special moment.
Well, what was that feeling when they won?
Do you know what, I was feeling very confident halfway through the game. I think the girls, did they pick up a 3 or a 4 midway through the game, and I thought, this is ours. Their big game was the semi-final before, when they played Anna Hasselberg from Sweden, and that game was going to go either way. I mean, a 12-11 score is a score you don't normally see in a Winter Olympics at that level of competition, but they had played their heart out, so I knew that once they won that game and we were getting into the final, I felt really confident for them, and it worked, and they played so well. So it was really touching to be involved in it.
You can't believe that we've now got to wait until 2026 for the next Winter Olympics.
Yeah, every 4 years. It just feels like a lifetime away. And it's a lot for the girls if they're going to go and do it again, as young Hayley is. She's still in the squad, she's still competing, and she wants to go to another Olympics. But it's a hard slog to think, oh, well, it's another 4 years away. But you just have to take one competition at a time and 1 year at a time.
Exactly. It'll be really exciting to actually see what this team can do now, because we are going to hear from Hayley just now. Bhoireannaich Hayley Duff isteach gan Cuideachd Eve Muirhead in Nuri, Geamannan an an gus bhan ára focal ag na Geamannan Oilimpeach. Bhrein sin Nuri Hayley si cuide arás bliana háirithe agus an bhan áir sin an in Beijing.
Hayley Duff live at cròladh ag session foscailte na bhaid óg, agus thuirí meach go mállua go tàlant aice ar a hon.
So I moved to Scotland when I was 8 years old, and there was a small ice rink in the town we moved to, and my dad said to me, do you want to try the sport that I did when I was a kid? So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Went along to a try curling session for those that were under 21, and I just loved it. I knew that I was enjoying it, and I went to do a few competitions with a local team from where I was from, and that's when I felt like I started getting my competitive streak. But it wasn't until maybe mid-teens where I thought, you know what, this is what I want to do, and I want to get as good as I possibly can at this.
Bha Hayley forstneach go raibh 4 joe eisiau barrachd san cuid sòisealtan sports. A haidian bheach fuchtaí gus a bhí go mass a ghlèidh híbhí.
Especially being a girl and getting into sport, you don't see as many role models on TV all the time. And I remember since I was young, Eve was always at the top of curling. She was always top of the sport. So when I started, I was always looking up to her. And there was this time I was curling in Perth, and I ended up on a sheet beside her. And this is about mid-teens. And I'm on a sheet beside her, and I remember watching her play a shot, and I was just stood watching her play her shot, that I missed playing mine because I was just so starstruck being beside her. And that was really special. And then also going to see her when she won her bronze medal, I went to go see that and have a hold of that as well. That just really inspired me to keep going and to prove that you can actually do well as a woman in sport.
Glúis cúisin go mállua a Hayley, an garage fai cluichs an sgiobair is an eile aiche. Agus fai Janet Jeschel as an Geamannan Olympics.
Yeah, so I got a phone call to kind of say, you've been selected into the team, which we hoped after we'd won the Cuideachd that it would still be the same team, but you never know. So we got that phone call, and I was so excited. I drove to my family home, about 40 minutes away from where I live, and I just drove straight there and just like went to see mum and dad, gave them a massive hug. It was like just emotional, even though I kind of hoped it was going to happen, but I was like definitely not getting my hopes up until it happened, so just getting a bit emotional and when I saw them. But I think I almost didn't have time to think about it, because as you say, everything had gone so quickly for me that I was just kind of rolling with everything that happened. It was like, I think if I'd thought about it too much in that moment, it would have been really overwhelming, but I just kind of had to get on with it, keep going. Prior to travel and during travel, I remember just firing questions at Eve, just left, right and centre, like, what do I need to bring? What do I need to do here? What's going to happen when we get, like, so many things, because she had so much experience, and I think that really helped the whole team. We were calmer when we got there, we knew what to expect. Obviously things were different than a normal Olympics, but we knew more about what to expect, more about the food hall environment, just little things like that that you don't really think of, that we discussed as a team beforehand, so we kind of knew how it was going to be when we got there, and I think that definitely made it easier and made us be able to relax and enjoy the environment more.
Jaachrich na hachar an Beijing behe Hayley go brach. Chluichen skippe eiche seach an cròladh 4 bha, agus bhuairnidh de heatbán ag Sgiobair B and an cròladh san 4 bliana.
So I would say we started off, we weren't playing badly at all, but we all knew we could definitely be better, and we had been better than what we were producing. And we were just trying to build on every game, discuss what can we do slightly better, just each game just get slightly better. But we knew we definitely could. By the time we got to the final, I think that was the best game we'd played the entire season, let alone just that one event. And we were just having so much fun. And in our fifth end break, where we get to chat to the coaches, our head coach and our team coach, Vicky came up and Vicky said, "I'm having so much fun. I don't want this game to end." And then you would just be like, when would someone ever say that in a final? Because you should have so much pressure and adrenaline. You're just trying to make it through and hopefully get the result you want. But she was just like, "I don't want this to end. I just want to keep going." And I think that really kind of summed up our whole ethos as a team and how well we were at communicating and supporting each other, that no one felt nervous at that point. We were all just so excited and wanted to be there, and that probably is why we played the best game of our entire season at that point. Yeah, so as soon as we shook hands and we knew we'd won, went and gave each other hugs, gave the coaches hugs and got photos, and we were all so happy, but it didn't actually sink in then, because for me especially, I was still in complete game mode, so I was just like, you celebrate but you don't feel like anything's happened. And I remember going around to do media, and I was speaking to BBC and Steve, and he was asking me about the game, and I was, because I'm in that game mode, I was just telling him exactly about the game, concentrated, and at the end he said to me, you don't look like you've just won Olympic gold. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, I just don't know what's happening. Yeah, I was just so still in game mode that I think it was just a bit of a shock about what had actually happened. So it took a bit of time before I actually realised what we'd done.
Char Hayley Duff son a bhíonn seirbhachas an Beijing céalacha go leiscin ach ha thula min at Cuideachd.
Yeah, so we came back, we stayed in London for a day, did loads of media there, flew up to Scotland to come home. I think we had one day off, and then we were back into doing more media. Like, everything's been super exciting. It's not been something that we've not wanted to do. It's been really, really crazy. And then we expected to have a couple months off curling during the summer, but ended up you're talking about curling every day to someone different. So it's not been much time off, but it's been an amazing journey. I remember when we came home, we were sitting around the dinner table, and my dad was like, "You probably get an MBE now because of that." And I was like, "Nah, don't be silly. Like, I've seen other athletes get it, but you just don't imagine it." And I was out shopping with my mum, and we got back into the car, and I was like, "I've got this email," and I had read through it, and I was just started crying. And Mum was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "I'm getting an MBE." So that's something really, really special as well.
Ha tóir achrichin áine Hayley an Théisan seo, le scipe úr agus taracachin úr I dhéanú.
Since the Olympics, Eve, Vicky and Millie have all retired, and Jen has decided to go to play mixed doubles with Bruce, so I am the only one left in women's curling. So I had some chats with British Curling, and we've built a new team, slightly younger team, and we've not been together very long, we've just kind of started training, but we're now out competing on the circuit around the world, so that's really exciting, and we've got 4 years now to build another team. The target is 2026, and for me hopefully to retain gold, but before then there's loads of small targets. We've got European Championships and World Championships every year, so we'll be aiming for them over the next 4 years as well before we get to the Olympics.
Ha Hayley tangle ya hahad is who got a toshachugs in sports. I is ha has the quartery if you cluich college for go aum.
Yeah, definitely. It's really weird as well because he hadn't curled since he was late teens, so he was about 18, 19 when he'd stopped. And when I went back and curled, and he said, "If you keep it up for 1 whole year, I'll start again." So, and obviously I did, and he started again, and we played together. We also got bronze at the Scottish mixed doubles together before, so it's really nice as well that even though he's put me on this journey, I've taken him on a journey too, and I think he's senior Scottish silver medalist just now, so we've got each other to thank, I think.
What a story. 1 minute you're trying curling, the next you're an Olympic gold medalist.
What a year
yeah.
little Hayley Duff had. It was incredible. I spoke to her dad and he said it was just a phenomenal year, and it really was. I mean, only to have played in 2 international championships and to come out of both of them with gold medals. Bravo,
it's
bravo.
incredible.
She did so well. Yeah.
What about her dad? Was he really proud when you were talking to him about it?
I mean, he was. I was playing in the next seat to him last week or last month, and he was just beaming from. I mean, he's so proud of what she's done, and I think he also knows she's got a difficult time ahead of her as well. To try and emulate what she's done again will be very difficult.
It will be. I mean, we will come to that shortly, but just even to win gold at the Olympics, we kind of briefly touched on it at the start, but watching them throughout the Winter Olympics, were you ever in any doubt?
Yes.
You were?
Yes. The team hadn't been performing at the top of the level that they needed to, and they really were kind of struggling, and the dynamics, so they were a 9-person squad, and then they got put together at the very last minute to play in the European Championships, went off and did really well and got the gold medal there. But they still then had to go to the Olympic qualification event to qualify Great Britain into the Winter Olympics. And that was, again, there were some really good games and then there were some average games. So you were always really worried that they weren't going to make it, and they just squeezed through that at the top, but qualified in top position through their last stone draw numbering, which made them at the top. And then they went to the Olympics, and again, I think Hayley touched on it, they had some really good games, and then they had some games that were difficult for them, and they didn't win them, and they should have. So you just never knew what was going to happen. But what I will say is the guts and the determination and the drive, they kept performing and trying as hard as they could, and look what happened. They qualified into the semi-finals, and even that was a nail biter, because they finished. There was 5 teams vying for the last 2 sports to make it to the qualifiers, and they were one of them. So it was incredible.
Can you just put into perspective then, getting through Olympic qualification to actually win Olympic gold? How difficult is that to do?
I mean, it's really difficult, and I think probably one of the plus points was that Eve Muirhead was captain in that team, and she's got years of experience. She's been playing since she was a baby, and she's just so good at it, and she's so confident, and she's so dedicated. So what was really nice to see was the team gelled really well, and the dynamics is huge in curling as far as I'm concerned. And I think Hayley joining that team as a youngster, never been to these championships before, looking up to Eve Muirhead as her role model, that gave Eve confidence. Hayley played so well. She never put a foot wrong. She set up every end for these girls, and it was incredible to see. And I think she was the gel that made that team, and I can't say enough about that, because it meant so much. I mean, they all played so well, but that little girl coming in and playing as she did was phenomenal.
And you can see that it's almost as if it still hasn't quite hit Hayley what she's achieved, because she was still so kind of humble and excited as if it had just happened.
Yeah, I think that'll take a while for her to actually understand what she has done in such a short space of time. And I know it'll take a while, because it won't happen as easy the next time, and every single time you go back to a championship, whether it be Worlds, Europeans or Olympics, the pressure gets higher and higher. So good on her. She's got a fantastic gold medal round about her neck, and let's see if she can get back again, because it sounds like she wants to. Yeah,
exactly, and hopefully many more years ahead. But as Hayley mentioned, that she's the last one standing. There's kind of so much to talk about here, but for Eve retiring, she has been a huge part of Scottish curling, of GB curling, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. I mean, that was Eve's 4th Olympics, and it's really sad to see that she has retired. I think she's probably done it for the right reasons for herself, but it's a huge loss to the British Curling Association and to Scottish curling as well, that we've lost her at the moment. I mean, there was 2 other girls. Vicky decided to retire as well. Vicky was engaged and wanted to get married, and she also had her nursing to fall back onto, so I can understand where she wanted to go. Little Hayley, who was the 5th man, she decided that was enough, and she's going off to university for teaching. So yeah, so everybody's moved on, and Hayley wants to continue, but We don't have the core women's squad at the minute. It's really little. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult few years to see whether Great Britain can earn the points for the next Olympics in 2026.
A lot of change. It'll be really interesting actually following this new team over the next few years. Thanks very much, Jackie. Well, hashtag na nish a dulach lein sin vo skipper Bhoireannaich MhicDiarmid Tyler Rattray. Has Geamannan eintje eiche mar tega nioin a chuur skippe uur bhan a séad Wraith Rovers cluicead ar a horste steach a chai ein cintach le cuairt an a dávíle sa seach diac gnói Bhoireannaich éicneachach.
Háisí Tyler Rattray a cloich ball cosha an dóiseach éithne stráin, nu de gas a misaiche agus húdí corm a golcu Wraith Rovers.
When I was younger, I used to play in like the street with the boys that I had grown up with, and then I'd eventually started playing for Loman Colts in Glenothes, and then I moved to Wraith Rovers about a year after that, and then I'd been there since. But it was just from kicking about in the street really with the boys. So. Well, it was just one of the things that I used to love playing, and I just thought I'd maybe be at a team for a year or two and then, you know, just give up. But I've stayed into it and I still love it. So yeah, I've stayed playing.
Sa nuailech dávílas fichad sa gá, thug Wraith Rovers fideannach isteach an chlubbe a chai a lora cintach id cúis éicneach I ráie. Leis sin gach Tyler a bhana skipper don na Bhoireannaich, a club cuideachd cluiceadarin agus cuid eile a bhar mar fáirt an skipper coachí.
Obviously I was pretty gutted. It's a team that I've played at for so many years. And obviously when we left we didn't know what would be happening. We didn't know if there was a team to go to or anywhere that we could just play football, but you know, it's worked out quite well. We've still had a team to go to, but at that point we didn't know if we could still play football. So I felt it was really important. Obviously we've got a lot of girls that are part of the club, and it's girls that look up to us as players and as a team. And obviously if they had seen us stay at that club and just tolerate it, then you know they're looking up to us and seeing that, you know, they're just carrying on. Whereas when we left, they're looking up to us and seeing that we took a stand for what we actually believe in. It's still a bit surreal. Obviously I'd always played in the Wraith Rovers shirt. It's always a badge that I'd played under, so even putting on that strip, it's a bit like, well, I'm not playing for Wraith Rovers anymore, but yeah, it's so much better.
As Joey na round Tyler, chai skippen na bhan eile steachach, Bhoireannaich MhicDiarmid, le Tyler agus na sean chluiceadarin eile ag Wraith Rovers, úlach at all.
Obviously once we left Wraith Rovers, we'd all left not knowing if we'd have a team to go to or anything. And I think it was the same night, maybe the next morning, that we decided that we'd, you know, still try to play as a team, because we still wanted to play together. You know, it's a good bunch of girls, so we still wanted to play part of the same team. But we just knew we didn't want to play under the same name or same badge or strips or anything. So how it started was our coach Neil just, and the secretaries and stuff, they got our strips for the next game. I think it was about 3 days away. And then that was it from then. We just, as soon as we made that decision to leave, we knew that we were moving on to something better, really. A lot of good and positive fuzz came out of it, to be honest. Like, it's still, from that event, everyone's became closer in the team, so it's more like a family now. You know, everyone's really close now, and games are a lot more enjoyable, training's a lot more enjoyable because we're together as one instead of, you know, just turning up for ourselves and just playing for a team. And obviously we've got all the younger teams as well that are still training and, you know, a part of the club, so it came off a lot better. And obviously new strips, new badge, new name, everything's just a lot better and happier now.
Chai an skippe einimachach as Joey an tútar éicre a Bhoireannaich MhicDiarmid, she is that to be cús Faic agus úrasach ar Wraith Rovers, as Joey gave an cluiceadar sin a horte steach.
It was Amanda that plays in the team. It was her that had suggested it, because obviously we were in our girls' chat saying, what are we going to name ourselves? We don't know. And it was Amanda that came up with it, and I think everyone just agreed. But I think the point in the name was to show that we stand with Val. Obviously she went out and left the team, sponsorship and everything on her own, whereas when we all left as a team. We were all together and she was just on her own. So that's why we named our team after her, just to show that we supported her and, you know, we were always there. Everyone's amazing, like all the girls, they're all like sisters, you know, we're a big family, and obviously Neil's like, acts like our dad a little bit, gives us in trouble when we need it, and you know, he looks after us. And we're quite lucky that we've still got the full group of girls and coaches around us, because obviously we were a team before, but now we're more of a team, more of a family, and get in trouble when we need it, and supported when we need that as well, so it's great.
Yn teis yn sychau, ghlèidh Tyler a chiad glwys fel MhicDiarmid ac na dŵs yn pal cosyn yn bhan. Cuide unig mór orra le bhí fein anichig von yn dŵs.
I didn't actually know I was getting it. I had been told by my coaches and my mum, because she's the secretary, and the girls, that it was for my coach, Bev. So we were going for her. So obviously we went on the night and I got the programme snatched off of me, and I was like, but like I didn't register it. But it was as soon as Val called my name, I started crying like a little baby. So, but I think it's just obviously seeing her speech she gave on that night and hearing your name get called out, it just takes you back. It just makes you emotional and realise like, wow, it's just mental. Didn't expect any of it, but I mean, it shows that you're getting supported and the team's getting recognised for what we've done. Because obviously it was a lot we put on the line, so it was good. And I'm actually quite shocked that they all kept it a secret. They've done quite well, especially my mum in the house all the time, because I did ask a few questions, like because she hadn't been named on the shortlist, so they had to try and cover that up. But no, it was quite heartwarming seeing how much they all kept it a secret and how much of them all turned up on that night to support us, and it was just great, really good.
Sé gnách riaslach a héad bhí anton scipe, agus a Tyler máchtá ans na hulating a han sás, agus an dáis hat it déalacach dí ada a fópal. A cúsin it socrachach tuva mé club, agus a Tyler géiríon tolachas aiche it bal cosha a lorach a bhíist. Le scipe haig go mór sonna bhín a páist.
First game after all this came out, it was like everybody was stressed, everyone was a bit on edge because we weren't used to all this social media or anything of the sort, but they all handled it amazingly. And it's just good to be able to go out in that park and seeing all your girls on the pitch smiling. And you just kind of look at them all and think, you know, we're all one big family and we're all happy here. They've all handled it absolutely brilliantly. They've all been great to support, and great support towards each other. If someone's felt a bit, you know, overwhelmed, there's always been someone there to, you know, pick them up. If anything happens on the park, it's pick yourself up and keep going. So no, I'm really proud of every single one of them. Everyone that I play with is who I want to be playing with. There's a lot of people with potential here, and you know, they might possibly move on, but I've been at this club for so long that I love it, and I don't think I would leave. I was always the quiet one that wouldn't get up and dance in a changing room, or, you know, I'd always want to be sub. But obviously now I'm playing for a ladies team. And I'm just quite proud of myself because football's brought me out of my shell. And I've managed to, you know, improve my ability and just be a better player, and that's all I really wanted, was to play for a team and, you know, feel like I belong in the team, and that's how I feel now, so yeah, proud.
Jackie, what an incredible story. How much courage does that take for somebody like Tyler to stand up and speak out like that?
That was a huge amount of courage to do that. I mean, most athletes or most young girls would probably just back off and not say anything. And I think it was really, really brave of her to stand her ground and see how she felt and walk away. And what was really nice to see was that the rest of the girls followed her, and that was lovely, lovely to see.
And that's the thing, as Tyler mentioned, it's a team that's not used to media attention, to attention online. So it's really nice to see them now that kind of everything's settled. They're out on their own, they're playing football, and they're just enjoying things again.
Yeah, and it looks like they've grown, and they've grown together, and that's lovely. And it was really interesting to hear her saying that she's gaining in confidence, and I think that's something that sport's really good at. Like if you get a special achievement, or she got her award, and she starts to feel worthy of these things, then she's grown in confidence, and yeah, that's quite inspiring to watch what she's been through and where she's come out the other end at.
It totally is, and again, just another role model in sport who young women and older women too can look to and think, if she can do it, I can do it.
For sure, any age generation can look at these and be inspired by it.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. We do wish them all the best. But before we do get to the end of the programme, we do still have some minutes left to talk about curling and Scottish curling and GB curling and where it's at. So as we kind of spoke about in the end of the last chat, there's been a huge change in the women's team. Yeah. What kind of next? Where does the team go? How does it look now? Yeah,
so I mean, that was a huge loss, losing 3 players out of the GB team. But we have got a squad system that's in place where we have podium potential, regional academy, national academy. So there are girls there, but we've got some girls that don't have the international experience. Probably they need to be really, really successful, but I guess you've got to start somewhere. So like Hayley's now having to go from what was a fantastic lead position that she played into a lower, younger team, and she's now playing third, so she's now playing vice skip. So a lot more technical requirements are needed for that, and experience. So I think, am I a little bit worried? I possibly could be, to see where women's curling is going to go in the next 3 years. And we need our Scottish team to go to World Championships and European Championships and get into at least the top 5, so that we can gain points which are gathered up for the next Winter Olympics in 2026. So huge pressure on the girls. We've got a young team just now that's skipped by Jennifer Morrison from Aberdeen, my own club, and I'm watching her with bated breath, because she could be our next international skip to go to Worlds and Europeans and hopefully an Olympics.
I was actually just going to ask you, are there any young curlers who have caught your eye? Apart from Jennifer too,
yeah. Well, and Hayley, of course, who I will definitely keep an eye on. But there's some really good youngsters out there who are playing. Beth Farmer, Robin Monroe. There's lots of young talent, and that talent has to be grown, and then they have to gel together into a team that works for them. So that's where British Curling and the support staff there, that's what they're looking at. For sure, they have to be making sure the teams they pick are technically good, but they gel really well, because that's a big factor in curling.
And I suppose that's what Eve had for such a long career, is a team that obviously did work at times throughout the years, but obviously towards the end it was.
Yeah, it's a real. I feel like British curling have probably shot themselves in the foot by letting her go, because I think she could have been the poster girl for British curling for the next couple of years, and who knows where things are going to go. She's still young, she's only I think 32 or 33, and she's still got a lot of curling ability left in her. But I mean, let's see, I don't think the door's closed. We never know, she might come back. She was really keen to play mixed doubles, a position that Jennifer Dodds is now playing. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's ahead.
So it might not be the last that we've seen of Eve.
Might not be,
Wow.
It might not be. It is at the moment, but never say never.
That would be really incredible. And tell us very briefly, Jen and Bruce, are they a duo to keep an eye on?
They definitely are a duo to keep an eye on. They play very well together. They were so unlucky to finish 4th at the Olympic Games in their mixed double position, and she's going to concentrate on that for the next Winter Olympics. And yeah, they're good, so they will be a difficult team to beat.
Good. Well, a lot of change, a lot happening, but Jackie, it was so lovely to have you back this week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Wel, sin na hacin gaibh a noch, in a cheachgain bhí sean chluichetar na Alba Julie Fleetain callroom is in studio. Chun an uair sin, Jen Cínseach go bhfuil sibh lentin na BBC Alba ag chus gon cáil sibh program san bíd a trí seascad. Hí sin sibh in ahuras.